Today's talk has the title of You Are the One and Only You. Now, I was initially going to talk about values and starting into your values and your personal values. And then it actually dawned on me that before we need to talk about that, we need to make another step first. And let's talk about other people's expectations of you and how a lot of people lead their lives trying to follow in the steps of others. Now, there are two sides to it. Naturally, there's the learning from others, from your peers before you, from ideas that have come before you. And then the other side is trying to copy exactly what they're trying to do. So in what I do in life in general is in work in the sporting space, we actually see a lot of that. There are a lot of expectations that people have of the top athletes. You always hear that so-and-so is going to be the next LeBron James, or she's the next Elise Perry, or especially with the Olympics coming up now, you're getting a lot of people talking about athletes that are about to break the next world record, or it's the same as, something like Flojo, Florence Griffith Joyner. Nobody's come close to beating her records. And suddenly this year, because the Olympics is coming up, they're trying to talk about beating her record, and this new athlete's going to be the next her, and is going to break all her records and all this kind of stuff. And you can understand where it comes from the journalist side of things, because firstly, it's clickbait, so people want to click on it, especially with athletes that are maybe not as good as what they could be, but they're doing some decent times. And the other side is that they're actually trying to uplift the tournament, so people will be actually interested in the Olympic Games. And I think most people are, but it ups a hype about the Olympic Games. So then you will go back and read the stories when the Olympics Games come, and you want to see what that athlete's doing, which is all fine and stuff for creating a hype around the event. But what does it do to the athlete themselves? A lot of athletes just push that aside. But now we've seen with Naomi Osaka that there are some mental health issues that can come from journalist questions and expectations that others have of you. And I'm not going to go into talking about her issue, but talking about just what are the expectations out there, and how do we actually approach those expectations, and how do we be the best of ourselves and not the best of somebody else, because you'll never be better than that other person. So I know we're talking about athletics, and we've spoken about sport more than life in general, but these kind of things happen in life all the time. You are compared to somebody else. Somebody will turn around to you and say, you're just like Uncle so-and-so or Aunt so-and-so. And you sit there and go, well, actually, I don't feel like I am like that person. I'm myself. And it's coming from the right place. It's coming from the right ideas. But sometimes, like in my case, my brother was told that I had done certain things. And since he was born on the same day as me, he should be exactly the same as me. So he should think the same as me, talk the same as me, do sport the same as me. And in some ways, my brother was actually far superior to me in a lot of what I did. And in other ways, I was superior to him. I did them better than him. That's just because we actually are different people. Who cares that we came from the same parents and we were born on the same day? We actually were the same kind of people. But it does start a person on the back foot, and sometimes it creates animosity between two siblings when they actually are compared to each other all their lives. So you must sit there and you must look at yourself and say, okay, well, who am I? What am I going to do? And what is my way of doing things? Now, this comes back into the employment space, where you get into a company and people turn to you and say, this person here was before you, though you have 30 years, and you have to do it the same way. So you try and fit in, you do it the exact same way. Or you come into the company and say, okay, well, this person's been there for so long, I'm going to come in and I'm going to dominate it, I'm going to change everything. But then you lose focus of what the company's all about. However, you come through with a new, fresh approach. So both ways have got positives and negatives in it. But why do you have to do that? Why can't you come and see what's done beforehand and do it in a way that suits you the best? In some ways, you'll do it the same way. Sometimes you'll do it in other ways. So that's the same as yourself in your own personal development as to who you are. Look at yourself. Look at what you do. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is how I do it. This is my personal brand. And be yourself and enjoy yourself as yourself. And that's the important part of personal branding. So to listen to more and for me to go into more detail about the personal branding side of it, subscribe to my Patreon page. The link is below, and join us on Patreon.